We thank His Excellency Insko from this gathering for his powerful words, and we'll continue with our next speaker, His Excellency Zlatko Lagumdžija, former Prime Minister of Bosnia and Herzegovina. As a Bosnian politician, His Excellency Lagumdžija served as Deputy Prime Minister during the Bosnian War and served twice as Foreign Minister of his country. From 2001 to 2002, he became the 4th Chairman of the Council of Ministers for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Since 2004, he serves on the International Advisory Committee for the Congress of Democrats from the Islamic World and is active in the World Economic Forum and other international forums. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Thank you for such a great introduction. Thank you, President Filip, for also introducing all us members of the Podgorica Club. And I was hardly recognizing you were talking about me when you're talking so nicely. So, of course, thank you to our hosts. Thank you to Dr. Katsumi Asuka for putting us together, for inviting us here. It's really a pleasure. Dr. Werner, you were very enlightening during the discussion here and during the lunch. So thank you for this as well. Of course, I want to thank to all of you who were with us here today. We heard one of high representatives we had. 27 years since Dayton Peace Accord, we're having a lot of high representatives. To be more precise, we're having 8 of them, okay? Yesterday we talked about 2, they say number 3 in different languages, 3, whatever. So I said 8, okay? 8. 2 were, including current one, from Germany. 2 were from Austria. We felt very well with Austrians because we used to be part of empire. We used to have empire in here, in Austria, sitting here. Some of us are saying that World War I started too fast because we were much more advanced if it was a little bit delayed. But unfortunately, that's what happened. Out of 8 high reps, in those 27 years, 12 years where we were run 12 years by 2 Austrian high reps. 2. So more than half of our high representatives, and Mladen, of course, my dear friend, I think he's writing the book, All My High Reps. I'm eager to listen, to read that book because it will be fascinating. I know that when international community came after Dayton and before Dayton, international community since the war started, when Yugoslavia was falling apart, we were all waiting Godot to come, and it didn't come. And in the end, Dayton Peace Accord was achieved. I felt as a guinea pig submitted to the great world experiment after Berlin Wall falling down. I felt like a guinea pig in that experiment. Then after the war, I was submitted to 8 Maryland magicians, high reps, who are representing the international community. And I felt again as a guinea pig who is trying to survive the experiment made in Dayton, where we were granted such a complicated constitution. If that Dayton constitution was given to Switzerland, at that time probably Switzerland will fall apart in the meantime. It didn't happen, thanks God, that they didn't give it to Switzerland. They gave it to us. And we had eight masters, magicians, Marylands, like we had Insko, like we had Schwarz-Schilling. Today we have another Schmidt. We had, name the one. You have a long list. But what happened in the meantime? We evolved. I stopped being guinea pig. I started having a brain of scientist, brain of a Maryland magician. I think I know a little bit more about ourselves and about the international community falling apart in different parts of the world, including my own country. I hope it will not continue to some other parts of the world. Let's assume, just let's assume, that, for example, the guy who is bigger by size than Vladimir Putin, who is bigger by Putinism than Putin himself, called Milorad Dodik, who is calling for secession of the country for time and time again. Let's assume that he did call for secession after meeting with Putin in November last year in Kremlin. Let's assume that he did call for secession in Republika Srpska in Bosnia and Herzegovina a month or 2 months before Ukraine aggression. Do you think that European Union would be so united like it is united today with Ukraine? I doubt. I don't doubt. I'm sure that it wouldn't be. It would be a completely different ball game. It would be a completely different ball game. So, I mean, to a certain extent, Ukrainians are really today fighting for the future of the free world. They are fighting for the new multilateral world, which will be more just. But at the same time, Ukrainians are fighting for all of us. And they are fighting for us in Western Balkan. And they are fighting for us in Bosnia and Herzegovina, that we don't get into divided Europe. So I'm absolutely sure that by 2030, European Union and Western Balkan, the good news, is going to be the same. Yes, that's good news. If European Union goes in the right direction, we cannot go in wrong direction because we are already in wrong direction. Okay? So, what I'm trying to say, by 2030, European Union and Western Balkan will be the same. Either you will be Western Balkan, or we will become European Union. Okay? It's very clear. Since the number of our session is, my dear President, is results, responsibilities, and next steps. I'll talk very shortly about results. Yes, the guinea pig survived. That's result. Is that what was the name of the game, that we simply survive? Or was supposed the result to be that we are part of normal, decent, democratic, flourishing world, that Europe united in diversity, Europe and its values, is bigger than European Union is today, because Europe is not European Union. Europe is unfinished business until us in Western Balkan, for the beginning, and just for the beginning, become member of European Union. So if we speak about results in Western Balkan, results are zero because we are not in European Union. And that's our fault. That's first of all our fault. But we are not the only guilty one. In case European Union wants really to enlarge and to be Europe based on values, based on European moral values, then it has to finish the job in Western Balkan. It's very simple. If you want to be a geopolitical player, to be competing or let's say cooperating with China and the United States, you have to finish the job in your own backyard. That's us. Who will take you seriously in Algeria? Who will take you seriously in Georgia tomorrow if Putin goes in that direction? Who will take you seriously over there? So, if European Union want to be geopolitical player, then European Union has to consolidate itself in European Union. It's not European Union on the values, unity and diversity, if you cannot absorb Western Balkan in your own backyard. What are you missing? Economic capacity? Oh, come on. We are less than 1% of 1% of 1% of whatever economy is the size of the European economy. So there is no country that is comparable. Have Montenegro in European Union economically problem? Come on. Northern Macedonia. I mean, we heard about these people who changed their constitution. They changed the constitution. Can you imagine? In Western Balkan, everything is about, you know, something fuzzy. And the guys changed constitution. They changed their name. And then you didn't give them a date. Date? You didn't give them, dates will come, whatever you say. The date will be there. Date about what? The date to have a opening negotiations? Oh, that's the date that Turkey was given 20-something years ago, right? Oh, good perspective. So when they get the date, they will become Turkey. Good example. Europe on its best. Excellent. Excellent. So, what I'm trying to say, my dear Mr. President, is that European Union has no lack of economic capacity. European Union has no lack of institutional capacity. European Union has maybe a lack of political capacity, but that's not the problem. If Europe is based on certain values, values are actually fundamentals of institutions, right? So it's nothing else but values. Values are something which is called moral values. So the question that floats here by the guinea pig who survived the experiment. Is there enough moral capacity for European Union to walk the talk, to run itself according to the values you were looking for? Now, I'm absolutely sure that regardless of all this extremisms and right-wing populism, call it whatever, in Europe there's enough forces to really proceed with us, to be really together in European Union, that we are not meeting each other in Western Balkan in the time that is in front of us. So I think you have enough economic capacity, institutional capacity, political capacity, but recall yourself on moral capacity. So that's my point number one. We heard about Ruski Svet, we have Ruski Mir, Srpski Svet. There's also a Turkish world. That also is there. That also exists, but don't underestimate that. So don't underestimate all those worlds that try to be parallel with the world of European Union based on values. So those all worlds are competing with the European world, but European world in the sense of the European values. So I'm not afraid of all those worlds, Ruski world, Srpski world, Turski world, however. I'm afraid that European world doesn't find its own soul. So that's where we are. Speaking about next steps, let me say a few things. I'm very glad that I have here in a panel member of European Parliament. And when I saw that Lucas, you were in committee for environment, and you were in committee for health, and now you're in committee for development and artificial intelligence, you are the person. You can be our advocate for the next stage. Good. Why? I know we have to fulfill Copenhagen criteria. There is no, you have to do all homework. The problem is why you're not letting us to do our homework, why you are giving us a gift to give us a date, to start doing our homework. That's another question. I don't understand the answer for that. I even don't understand the question. But you are actually telling us that you won't give us a date, that we start doing our homework. Okay. And then you say you won't be accepted before you fulfill Copenhagen criteria. But when do we start doing it? Well, we'll tell you. When we give you a date. Okay, we go back to square one. Now, yes, we understand that we have to do all homework. Copenhagen criteria, we cannot go below it. We have to fulfill it. That's it. There are no doubts about it. But can we do something in the meantime? We heard about this open Balkan that actually was about integrating Balkan, but it made a bigger confrontations in Balkan than making us to cooperate with each other. A very simple thing, economy, which is common sense thing. Even when you twist economic proposals in political way, you actually make them being damaging ones, like open Balkan was damaging one. Now, but can we do something? I'll give you an example. I was talking to Mladen, we were talking in Berlin in one conference, we were together. I was talking with, it was President Tadic was there, some other friends from we call us Balkan Mafia, from Bulgaria, Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro. Of course, we think that we are making jokes, but I don't know what do we do, really. We were talking about, how about this? Under Berlin process that President Vujanovic was talking about. Why don't we say, okay, good. Why don't we put all those 6 countries under Berlin process to cooperate along the criteria that in 5 years, when we all cooperate on economic issues, that on 5 years from now, or maybe 3 years from now, I was talking to President Vučić, Mladen, in New York. We were talking, privately. It is possible even to do it in 3 years. But if we get proper support from the European Union, that we cooperate together among Western 6 countries on economy, with the goal that in 3 or 5 years we'll become member of the European Economic Union. Just like Austria used to be, or European Union itself used to be a long time ago. So we don't become members of the European Union. But there's economic union, European Economic Union, as a step to European Union, okay? So what we do, 6 of us cooperate on the Berlin process. This is Diplomatic Academy. You are the think tank of the think tanks, okay? I'm just sharing my thoughts with you about this, so think about it. Economic Union, European Economic Community. that in 3 or 5 years get enlarged by 6 Western Balkan countries who will be under Berlin process, working together, so we all do everything. I'm just giving, I am doctor for computer science, for artificial intelligence. I'm not doctor for human brain. So forgive me for giving maybe a little bit naive proposals, okay? So we'll come to your artificial intelligence. So that's proposal number 1. Let's do that. There's in January this year in Lyon under the French presidency, there was a movement, a project called European Health Union because of COVID and all those things. Why don't we do European Health Union to be European Health Union where Western Balkan is in? Okay? It's very simple. When we get vaccinated or not vaccinated, you're going to be infected by us anyway. Schengen is not going to help you. So, European Health Union. Let's see how European Green Deal. Why don't we have European Green Deal? Why don't we make separate Green Deal for Western Balkan? Why don't we do European Green Deal, where Western Balkan is part of that European Green Deal? So we do Western Balkan European Green Deal, which goal is in 2-3 years we glidely become parts of European Green Deal. Digital transformation and artificial intelligence, because I'm using the opportunity that Lucas is with us, because he's in that committee, right? That is dealing with artificial intelligence or something like it, right? So why don't we have digital transformation, interconnectivity for Western Balkan? Why don't we do that as a part of the same? So when it comes to digital, when it comes to Green Deal, when it comes to health, when it comes to economy, we are a member of the same union. And it can be achieved in 3 or 6 years. And of course, parallel with it, we can have doing all Copenhagen criteria or different layers. If in latest strategy, security strategy, President Biden launched, said that we are competing with China and Russia on so many issues, but we'll try to work with them on sustainable development, on climate change, terrorism, migrants, healthcare. Why don't we do that in Western Balkan here together with you in the European Union? If Biden can do it with Chinese and Russians, why you can not do it with us? Just giving a hypothetical question. But that requires leadership. That requires real leadership based on the moral values that Europe is about. What is the problem with us? We have a lot of problems. We have a lot of people who are leading us in Western Balkan, in my country in particular, not only my country, whose words are full of European integrations, but they actually don't mean it. I won't say they lie, but simply they do lie. They brutally lie. They're not interested in the European Union. Because further we are away from the European Union, further and longer they will stay in power. So this is the reason why we have a lot of politicians in Western Balkan who are not interested in the European Union. So don't give them a gift. If we elect them and we gave them a gift and curse to ourselves, then help us that we get faster because they are not interested in it. To make a long story short, thank you very much for listening to me so silently, because I learned one lesson. When you get such a good applause, don't continue talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lagumgia. I do believe this is a passion we all need to work towards peace in Balkans, and sure, then we will achieve it.